Hello dear fans. How to use a caliper correctly. Not only in production, but also in everyday life, it is often necessary to find out the dimensions of small parts. To measure the diameter of the drill or the cross-section of the wire, to determine the dimensions of the inner groove in the workpiece, it is most convenient to use a vernier caliper. This tool is quite easy to use, although it does take some skill. Caliper device. The measuring ruler is extremely easy to use, but you can measure objects with it only with a very low degree of accuracy. If the conditions of the problem place higher demands on the measurement results, it is best to use a special type of control and measuring tool, which is called a caliper. This device makes it possible to determine the internal and external dimensions of objects, as well as the depth of small holes. A traditional caliper consists of an elongated bar fitted with fixed jaws. A frame with movable elements and a locking screw moves along the rod. On the flat surface of the rod there are cutoffs that reproduce a scale with a graduation of 1 mm. The standard scale is usually 150 mm long, although more impressive models can be found. On the movable part of the instrument, you can see a scale for auxiliary purposes, which is called a vernier. How to use a caliper. To take measurements using a conventional caliper, you need to prepare the instrument. To do this, you need to spread the jaws of the caliper a sufficient distance, and then tightly squeeze the measured object, for example, a drill or a metal rod, with them. Do not use excessive force to avoid damaging the instrument. Now you need to look at the very first, left, mark located near the lower scale in order to find out at which division it is set. For example, if the mark is located between 0 and 1, this means that the object is less than a centimeter in size. The next step is to find out which of the divisions of the upper scale the label coincides with. If it is opposite division 7, then the size of the measured object is 7 mm. You can also measure tenths of a millimeter with a caliper. If the lower mark is established between the number 7 and 8, you need to see which of the marks exactly coincides with the risk on the upper scale, making a single line with it. Did the 5th mark match? This indicates that it is required to add half a millimeter to the result obtained. The number of additional marks on the lower scale can be 10 or 20, which is determined by the accuracy class of the caliper. It is also not too difficult to measure the inner diameter with vernier calipers. For this purpose, the tool has two slightly pointed jaws at the top. They need to be inserted between the inner surfaces of the recess or pipe, and then pushed as far as possible. All other measuring actions in this case will be the same as described above for external measurements. Thanks for watching.